What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical average American here today to react and learn about how to spot an American in Norway. This sounds very funny to me, very amusing. I have to admit, when I saw this discussion on Reddit, where people were talking about what are clear giveaways that someone is a foreigner in Norway, I was just thinking, Americans, they make it so obvious when they go to other places around the world. We tend to not know much about other cultures, not bother to learn about other cultures, and just act the American way, no matter no matter where we are. It's just in our nature. So that is both funny and also kind of kind of embarrassing, I would say, but I thought it'd be really entertaining for me to look more at this discussion and see what Norwegians talk about and what they observe Americans and other foreigners that give themselves away, that just make it obvious that they are not from Norway. So this person's saying, I was told when living in Norway, it was obvious I wasn't Norwegian because I wave thank you to cars that stop to let me cross the road. And while driving. Oh, really? Just from waving to cars that let you cross the road. Why? Is that just not normal? Like to give a little wave? Like thanks, thank you. Or is it just that everyone kind of expects it, so there's no need to wave? That's an interesting one. I wouldn't have even known that would give away that you're not Norwegian. You wave to thank cars. Also, occasionally talking to strangers in lines and queues, waiting rooms. Shock, horror, yes. Yes, going out of your way to strike up conversation with random people when everyone's just minding their own business. Very American thing to do. I would expect that to give it away. And especially since you'd be talking English and probably sound like an American too at that point. This person says, not speaking Norwegian. Yes, that should probably be number one, right? That is the most obvious indicator when you're not speaking Norwegian in Norway. It is kind of a giveaway, isn't it? See, I would always try to speak to people in Norwegian, and they would always swap to English a few sentences in. Like, guys, at least make it obvious that my Norwegian sucks. I think that's Norwegians trying to be nice and polite and considerate. They can tell that you're not Norwegian. Even if you try to speak the language, you're going to have an accent. And since Norwegians are so darn good at English, they just swap over to English. That actually makes a lot of sense. I think that's nice, but it is also funny and also kind of saying, I know you're American and your Norwegian is terrible, so let's just talk in English. Okay. What else do we got here? For Tromsø, people walking around in the type of clothing you would wear on some kind of polar expedition. You know what? I guess that's better than being underprepared. Is that Americans and tourists go to Norway and just have 50 layers of clothing on and just the biggest, poofiest jackets ever. And it's better than being underprepared, I think. But that absolutely makes sense that you would stick out if you're in some part of Norway where you're dressed like it's going to be Antarctica or something. Also, touristy clothing with our flag on it. Right. Norwegians probably don't walk around wearing Norway's flag on the clothing very much. Just like Americans don't walk around that much with American flag on their stuff. Some do, I guess. Also, walking on the side of the bridge reserved for bikes. Oh, yeah. That's a very local thing that I wouldn't know. Are there signs or something indicating that it's for bikes? Then I would probably obey, unless I couldn't read it. All right, that makes sense. That would definitely make you stick out. You're spot on. I see so many tourists here with a piece of clothing from Napgiri with the Norwegian flag on it, which no Norwegian would wear. Oh, wow, right. wearing touristy clothing. That makes sense. That would make you stick out. Either way, too little prepared for the climate or full polar expedition. Okay, so it's either we're underprepared and freezing to death, or we're way overprepared and we have way too much, like we're going to the North Pole or something. To be fair, I think non-tourists get the bike side of the bridge wrong as well. Okay, makes me feel a little better. What else do we have here? Listening to music or audio without headphones on public transportation. Find it rude, to be honest. I think that's rude anywhere, but if I was in an American city on public transportation and someone was playing music out loud, I wouldn't be totally surprised, and I would be like, yeah, that doesn't surprise me. They're just an American in America. But I would think it's rude, and I would think it's, like, a little weird. But in Norway, I imagine that would make you completely stick out. And if you're traveling all the way to Norway, and you're playing your music out loud on the bus or something, that is extra rude. That's extra inconsiderate to do that in a foreign country. Like, what? That's embarrassing. Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. What else do we have here? Having a conversation on speakerphone in public. It's insane to me how many people do this. Yeah, it's kind of like playing your music out loud, huh? Wow. Having a phone call using your speakerphone is a little more okay to me. It's a little more common. So that makes me think, in Norway, is this completely uncommon, having your speakerphone on in public? Because I would not be totally shocked to see this in America. So that's actually a good one for me to know. Not that I think I would do that. I would just be too embarrassed, no matter what, to play any noise out loud. But yeah. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, this is common for foreigners. Okay, that's a good one. What else do we have here? I walked into a restaurant without speaking to anyone and sat down. The waiter came up to me and immediately began speaking English. Oh, they could just look at you and know. This had happened so many times that I stopped him and said, "Okay, what is it? What gives it away that I am foreign?" He replied, "Oh, that's not it. I don't speak Norwegian." Huh? Wait, what? This doesn't even say what makes them look like a foreigner. This is just someone who randomly happened to have a waiter who couldn't speak Norwegian in Norway? Okay, that's just weird. Okay, what else? Well, I'm Norwegian, and I raised my hand as a way to say thanks to cars that stopped for me. Okay, yeah, I would have thought, like, that can't be that weird. Just raising your hand like, thanks, waving to someone, right? Norwegians gotta do that sometimes. But I also go out of my way to avoid having to make cars stop for me. Don't want to be a bother. There we go. There's the Norwegian culture peeking through. So it's more like Norwegians are concerned with not inconveniencing people. They wouldn't be making cars stop for you. You'd probably be going out of your way to not make people have to go out of their way and stop for you. That Americans are running into the road, basically trying to get hit by cars. That's how much Americans like run into the road. They don't care if you have to stop. So that is definitely an American quality. Okay. Sitting next to you or next to someone on public transportation. Yes. Although there are available seats where they could sit alone. Yes. This is one that comes up time and time again, where Americans and foreigners, Americans in particular, will sit next to you even if there's space, even if there's open seating. And it bugs me as an American. I'm like, really? Why? And then they never talk. Some of them just never talk to you the entire time. They never say a word. So it's not like they even wanted to sit next to you to strike up a conversation. They just sit next to you for no reason. Like they're totally comfortable. You know what? In a way, I'm jealous that they're that comfortable somehow. uh, Wearing jeans when hiking. Okay. I would think, in America, jeans are associated with manual labor, doing hard work, a dirty pair of jeans that's worked in, you know? So I could see Americans busting out the jeans for a hike, but it's not very practical, is it? That's not very practical. It's very constrictive. So yeah, that would make you stick out. Like like a sore thumb. That would make you stick out. That makes sense. Someone mentioned to me that they knew I was a foreigner because I looked happy and relaxed. Oh my gosh. Norwegians are really funny. Oh my gosh, what does this say about Norway? So this person was sticking out because they looked happy and relaxed and stress-free, that Norwegians were like, "There's no way you're from Norway. You look way too relaxed." That's funny. That's funny. I'm sure there are Norwegians who are relaxed and happy, but that is funny. Talking loudly on the phone while on the bus. This just is it. We heard this one already, but this is a super American thing. And for no longer than 2 minutes, using cash to pay everywhere, despite looking like they have a firm grasp of a debit card and their finances. Yeah, I don't know why people use cash at all, to be honest. It kind of blows my mind in the modern day, in the digital era, using cash. It is kind of fun, though. Not greeting, oh, not greeting passerbyers on a hike. Wow. I learned about this from Alt for Norge, the TV show. I learned that, according to Norwegians on the show, you're supposed to greet people when you're hiking. You're supposed to say something or talk to them, maybe talk about where you're going and greet them. And this is just not something that would be normal in America. This is not normal. The Americans like to talk a lot and they like to chat with strangers, but not in the middle of nowhere, not on a hike, not in a random empty place. That would be perceived as inappropriate and uncomfortable because it's so when you're on a hike, you're alone, there's no one else around. It's very awkward and uncomfortable for someone to approach you and talk to you. Americans don't trust each other very much, so they find it uncomfortable to be alone with someone in an isolated area. But apparently in Norway, it's okay, or even expected to talk on a hike. Away from large cities, it's almost expected to chat at the summit with strangers. Yeah, this is so interesting to me. I think it's also just because Norwegians trust each other and are normal, whereas Americans are very weird. So you often do not want to talk to them in the middle of nowhere. That's very uncomfortable. And that's a fascinating cultural difference right there. Babalyake? Babalyake in the summer? What does that mean? What does this word mean? It's a coat. It's a coat by the look of it. Oh, these coats. They have a name? Wearing those coats in the summer. Well, that would be weird to do in America. But I guess this is saying that a lot of Americans and foreigners think that Norway is freezing cold all year round. But in the summer, it can get warm. Like, I've learned that much. How to tell if someone is Norwegian is simple. Their voice goes up 10 pitches at the end of a sentence. I can tell non-Norwegians from Norwegians. Oh, this is how to spot a Norwegian, not an American. Norwegians raise their voice at the end of a sentence. So their voice goes up 10 pitches at the end of a sentence. Like that. I don't think I did that right. A bit more advanced. If you speak good Norwegian, talking about religion, as in talking about their own religion, asking others about religion, or getting into any religious discussion, unless you're in some of the more conservative parts of Norway. So just talking about religion in general in Norway is unusual and something, yeah, that's very like personal and kind of similar in America, where you wouldn't just randomly talk to someone about religion, but at the same time, I wouldn't say it would be totally unexpected for someone to talk about their religion in America. That'd be normal. Okay, that'd be normal when I think about it. But in Norway, that's pretty strange. That makes sense. That makes sense. I give a little nod or raise a few fingers from the steering wheel to say thank you in traffic. This again. Most people do. And when crossing the roads, people nod or smile or thank you. Yeah, yeah, right? That's what I thought. That's just a matter of respect and common courtesy. But talking to strangers, are you insane? Okay. Yes. Especially on hikes. Especially on hikes. When they aren't wearing the skis all Norwegians are born with. Okay. We got someone trying to be funny. Yes, Norwegians are born with skis attached to their feet. Right, right. I know about that. For sure. Maybe, not always, a clear giveaway. But if you see someone smoking, especially young people, they are most likely foreigners, as most Norwegians use snus. Snus. Right, the stuff you put in your gums or mouth. Yeah, yeah, I heard about that. That would be very unusual to see in America. Snus. Snus. Okay, that's a good one. Yeah, if you see someone smoking in Norway, they're probably foreign. Huh, because of the snus. Right, right, right. Ah, so true. I've only ever seen people over 40 smoking cigarettes. Oh, so young people use snus. I swapped to snus when I was moving to Norway. Okay, okay. That's a good one. That's like one I forgot about. That's a good one. Huh. What does a Norwegian wardrobe look like? I didn't notice much difference besides men wearing a lot of waterproof jackets. Okay, waterproof jackets. Eye contact in the streets. Like Americans and foreigners are more likely to give you random eye contact. Americans do stare a lot. That's something I've noticed in America. Everyone stares at each other a lot. It's very weird. It's very weird to me. But maybe that's just me. Moon boots, snow jogs, hat with tassel, white winter clothing, clothing with the Norwegian flag. Yeah, this one I'm starting to realize makes sense. Wearing, like, clothing in Norway that has a bunch of Norwegian flags on it. Like, that would be kind of strange. Okay, what else do we have here? Anything else? I'm Norwegian, and I always wave thanks to cars. Okay, so at the beginning, I think that was kind of not representative of all of Norway. Norwegians are polite. They'll give a wave to people in cars when you're being nice. Americans are 20 decibels louder. Americans are louder than everyone else, so it's easy to spot. Okay, okay, I'll take it. Probably true. Closing your curtains. Closing your curtains. OMG, I used to love my walks and cycles around town. You can literally see everyone's life on display. We keep our curtains closed in the UK. So in Norway, people don't close their curtains? What? This is random. So again, is that just Norwegians trust each other and don't really care? I think it says something about Norwegian culture if people don't care about closing their curtains, because Americans definitely want privacy and are very concerned with closing the curtains, making sure no one can see them at all times. It's a huge, huge concern. Wow. That's a fascinating one. That's a good one. That's very random. Okay. I'm Norwegian. I wave to drivers that stop for me. Okay. I get it. I thank cars and I thank cars when I'm riding my bike and walking. Okay. Pointing and taking pictures of things most Norwegians see every day. That's a pretty obvious one, I guess, huh? That makes you look like a tourist. That makes you look like a tourist no matter where you are in the world. If you're that person with their camera out all the time, pointing at stuff, what, what just pointing at everything, looking amazed, that definitely means you're a foreigner. Definitely Americans are doing that in Norway, for sure. Okay, this was pretty good. This is pretty good. Some of these were actually kind of funny and true. A lot of these were very true. And some I had never even heard before. Some of these are very interesting. Smoking cigarettes, wearing big poofy jackets, closing your curtains. Very funny, random stuff to give away that you're American or that you're foreign to Norway. That's pretty funny. I enjoyed this. I enjoyed this a lot. Uh, anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Norway, Norwegian culture, stuff about Norway that I've never learned before, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.